You're not going to wait until you're rich to carry yourself like you matter. You're not going to wait until you're famous to walk like you have something to say. You're not going to wait until the world recognizes your worth before you start recognizing it yourself. Because you already know. Somewhere deep in your bones, you already know who you are. You've just spent too long apologizing for it, too long toning it down, too long trying to be liked instead of legendary. The moment you act like you've already won, your energy changes. You stop begging, you stop chasing, you stop explaining. You move like someone with nothing to prove and everything to offer. You become undeniable, not because you're louder, but because you're solid, quiet, certain, like gravity. And it's not about arrogance. It's not about ego. It's about alignment. When your behavior starts matching your vision, the world adjusts. People feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Your confidence becomes a frequency, and that frequency pulls your future into your present. That's how winners live. They don't wait to feel ready. They decide, they declare, and then they move like it's already done. You think success is going to come tap you on the shoulder and say, "Now it's your turn"? It won't. You have to move as if it's already yours. You have to train when no one is watching. Speak like the world is already listening. Dress, walk, think, and operate like the version of you that already made it. You have to become the energy of what you want before the world believes in it. Because here's the truth. They don't believe in the dream. They believe in the person who refuses to let it go. You want more? Then be more. Right now, not next year. Not once you feel better. Not once everything is perfect. Right now, in the middle of your chaos, your pain, your healing, your doubt, right now is where the shift begins. If you only act successful when things are going well, you'll never build anything that lasts. Anyone can pretend to be confident when they're winning. But the ones who act like they've already won while they're still bleeding, those are the ones you can't stop. The old version of you hesitated, second-guessed, waited. That person is done. That version is retired. You're not here to play small anymore. You're not here to survive. You're here to dominate. You're here to walk into rooms and shift the temperature, to make people feel the weight of your presence, not because you're shouting, but because your identity is unshakable. You've done the inner work. You've paid the hidden costs. And now you act like you've already won, not because you're trying to convince others, but because you're finally convincing yourself. You are no longer seeking approval. You are walking in purpose. You are no longer hiding your ambition. You are moving in authority. And when you act like you've already won, the universe doesn't question you. It follows your lead. The world doesn't open up to the hesitant. It bows to the bold. So walk like you've already made it. Speak like your words bend reality. Think like your ideas are building empires. Prepare like the opportunity is already here, because it is. But you have to become the version of you that can hold it, now. Stop rehearsing failure. Stop doubting your own power. Step into the future like it already belongs to you, because it does. And deep down, the shift doesn't happen when people clap for you. It doesn't begin when the world finally sees your effort. It begins when you change how you carry yourself, when you stop waiting for a reason to believe and just start believing. Most people live in delay. They say things like, "When I get the money, I'll feel confident. When I lose the weight, I'll be proud. When someone loves me, I'll love myself." That's not how change works. That's not how champions are made. You don't wait to be celebrated. You become someone worth celebrating. You don't wait to feel worthy. You build a life that reflects worthiness. You act like you've already won, not to impress others, but to awaken the parts of you that have been sleeping. Every time you walk into a room with your head low, you're lying about who you are. Every time you talk yourself out of your own potential, you're betraying the future that's begging you to arrive. You've suffered enough pretending to be small. There's nothing humble about hiding your gifts. There's nothing noble about playing down your power. You were never designed to blend in. You were built to stand out. And now it's time to stop shrinking, to fit into lives you've already outgrown. You've outgrown the excuses. You've outgrown the patterns. You've outgrown the old conversations, the old friends, the old thoughts that kept you ordinary. That version of you, let it die. Let it go. That's not who you are anymore. You're not here to be remembered for almost. You're here to be known for certainty, for presence, for power. You don't ask for permission to evolve. You just evolve. Quietly, relentlessly, completely. You act like you've already won, because that's the only way to become someone who wins. Every step you take with that energy becomes a declaration to the universe. I'm ready now. I'm not wishing, I'm not hoping, I've already decided. Winners don't make noise to be seen. They build momentum in silence. Their discipline speaks louder than their doubts. Their consistency drowns out their fears. While others sleep, they sharpen. While others seek comfort, they train. And while the world watches, they execute like it's already done. Because in their mind, it is. You have to understand the world mirrors your energy. If you walk like you're unsure, life will treat you like you're optional. But if you walk like you are chosen, like you are inevitable, nothing can deny you, not rejection, not delay, not failure, because the one who acts like they've already won can't be broken. They don't need evidence to keep going. They don't stop to check who's watching. They just move with force, with precision, with purpose. You are no longer negotiating with fear. You are no longer sitting at tables where you have to shrink. You are no longer asking for scraps. You are building the feast. You are creating the stage. You are writing your legacy in the silence of your self-discipline. And every single day, you act like the crown is already on your head. Not because you're pretending, but because your spirit already knows. You don't have time for doubt anymore. You don't have space for the old voices that kept you stuck. You've wasted enough seasons waiting. This is your becoming season, your execution era. You rise now, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You rise because staying the same is no longer an option. You rise because deep down, you know you were meant for more. And now, you stop performing weakness. You stop rehearsing loss. You stop entertaining the lie that you're not ready. You're not just ready, you're overdue. You're not just capable, you're chosen. So act like it, speak like it, move like it, decide like it, because this next chapter doesn't belong to the hesitant. It belongs to the bold, the certain, the relentless, the one who walks into the room already knowing how the story ends. And you are that one. Good. Because this is where most people stop, right here, at the edge of discomfort. They feel the pressure, the weight of becoming someone new, and they retreat. They go back to what's familiar, back to their excuses, back to the version of themselves that never had to be accountable for greatness. But you're not going back. You've already burned the bridge. You've already buried the old self. And when there's no way to return, there's only one direction left: forward. Forward into the storm, forward into the unknown, forward into the person you say you want to become. So now you wake up with intention, not vibes, not emotion, not luck. You move with certainty. You open your eyes and start acting like your dream is your duty, like your potential is not optional, it's required. You're not doing this for likes. You're not doing this for praise. You're doing this because there is something inside of you that refuses to be average, something that refuses to settle for good enough. And here's what they won't tell you. Acting like you've already won doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you never fall. It means when you fall, you get up with fire. It means even when your life is falling apart on the outside, you're still calm on the inside because you know who you are. That's real power. That's real confidence. It's not noise, it's presence. That unshakable stillness that comes from knowing I've already decided who I am. The world's opinion can't rewrite that. You will confuse people with your peace. They won't understand how you move with so much clarity while everything around you is chaotic. That's because they don't know how long you've been building this mindset in the dark. They didn't see the nights you didn't sleep, the mornings you didn't quit, the conversations you had with yourself just to keep going. They weren't there when you had to rebuild yourself from nothing. They only see the glow, not the grind. But that's okay. They're not supposed to understand. You didn't come here to be understood. You came here to become, and becoming requires sacrifice. You'll lose people, you'll lose approval, you'll lose comfort, but in return, you'll gain yourself. And once you've gained yourself, truly, you become unstoppable. Not because life is easier, but because you are stronger. Your self-image is no longer tied to outcomes. Your confidence isn't fragile. It doesn't disappear when you fail. It gets sharper, louder, more refined. You act like you've already won, and then you let your actions prove it. You show up differently. You speak with more weight. You no longer shrink in the presence of greatness because you recognize yourself in it. You no longer compare because you're too busy becoming. You no longer fear the future because you're too focused on building it. And let me be clear, this isn't for everyone. Most people will fold under the pressure of becoming. They'll trade greatness for comfort, trade vision for distraction, but not you. You've tasted your own potential now, and nothing else satisfies. You've felt what it's like to move with purpose, and now mediocrity makes you sick. So now you act different, walk different, speak different, because you are different. And no, not everyone will clap for you. Some will be uncomfortable, some will be jealous, some will talk behind your back. Let them. You're not here to be digestible. You're here to be exceptional. You're not here to be liked. You're here to leave a mark. And that only happens when you stop asking for a seat at the table and start building your own. You act like you've already won because you finally realize there is no backup plan. There is no second life. This is it. This moment, this breath, this chapter, and how you carry yourself inside it will either build a legacy or bury your potential. And you don't get to blame anyone else if you play small. That's on you. The clock is ticking. The world is moving. And you've been chosen, not to wait, but to walk like it's already yours. So take up space, show your scars, lead with fire, own your name, because the next level doesn't come to the one who wants it most. It comes to the one who acts like they already live there. Good. Because the people who need this the most are the ones who've been quiet for too long, too respectful, too obedient to their own limits. And if that's you, if you've spent years walking with your head down, making yourself small, dimming your light just to make others comfortable, then hear me clearly now. That season is over. You don't need another sign. You don't need another quote, another permission slip, another perfect plan. What you need is to finally step like the door is already open. And you won't see the results first. You'll see resistance, people pulling away, things breaking down, emotions rising. That's how transformation feels. That's what it sounds like when your old life starts screaming as it dies. And it will scream. Your old habits will beg for one more chance. Your old friends will test your loyalty to the past. Your mind will offer you the soft pillow of excuses. You've done enough. You're tired, maybe next week. But every time you listen, you water the seed of weakness. Every time you give in, you reinforce the lie that you are still who you used to be. And you're not. Because the version of you who's already won, that version doesn't flinch under pressure. That version doesn't hesitate when it's time to speak up. That version doesn't lower their standards just to keep being liked by people who never saw their value in the first place. That version isn't polite about their destiny. That version walks through fire and doesn't apologize for the smoke. You must realize this. Your future isn't waiting for the right moment. It's waiting for the right identity. The you that walks like it's already done. The you that leads with certainty, not circumstance. Because when you change your energy, you change your outcomes. People start responding to you differently. Doors open that were locked before. Opportunities arrive that once ignored you. Not because the world changed, but because you did. That's the secret no one talks about. It's not about proving them wrong. It's not about making noise. It's not about fighting for recognition. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to ask for it. You already know what you bring. You already feel the weight of your calling. You already see the life that's trying to be born through you. So now, act like it. Not tomorrow, not once you're ready. Now, when your body says, we're tired, your mind says, but we're chosen. When your friends say, you've changed, you say, exactly. When your old self whispers, come back, you answer, that version of me is gone. You are not becoming something new. You are returning to what you've always been. You are remembering your power, reclaiming your voice, restoring your focus. And the more you walk like it's already yours, the more the world moves to meet you. And don't be surprised when it feels lonely. Don't be shocked when people ghost you, doubt you, question you. Let them. Let them misunderstand. Let them fall off. They're not meant for the altitude you're rising to. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking yourself seriously, for investing in your vision, for cutting off distractions, for walking like a winner before the scoreboard reflects it. And if they laugh, let them laugh. You'll be laughing louder when they're still waiting for signs, and you've already built a kingdom from your silence. The difference between the ones who dream and the ones who live the dream? The ones who live it acted like it was already theirs, long before anyone else could see it. And that's what you do now. You live it, you move like it, you breathe like it. Until the line between who you are and who you want to be disappears, this is the moment. This is the time. This is where the old version dies and the new one doesn't just step up, it takes over. And if you're still breathing, we're not done. All right, sit up, breathe deeper. Let these words carve into your soul like a blade made of truth. Because what's coming isn't soft, and you weren't built for soft. You were built for impact, for legacy, for war. Not with the world, but with the version of you that keeps getting in your way. That lazy voice, that comfortable identity, that polite, low-effort, play-it-safe ghost you've been dragging behind you like a memory. It's time to bury that ghost, because acting like you've already won isn't about pretending you're better than you are. It's about refusing to act like you're less than what you already are. It's about waking up and realizing the prize isn't out there. It's inside you. It always was, and the moment you stop waiting to feel enough is the moment everything changes. That's when the gear switches. That's when your steps get heavier. That's when your voice starts carrying weight. That's when you stop playing defense and start building the damn empire. This world doesn't need more humble liars, people pretending they don't have power just to make others feel safe. It needs more dangerously honest warriors. Men and women who wake up, look in the mirror and say, I'm not there yet, but I move like I am. Because it's not about being finished. It's about being fused to your purpose. So tight that nothing can shake it loose. Not setbacks, not silence, not critics, not even your own doubt. And there will be doubt. Let's not lie. There will be days when the world goes quiet, days when no one claps, days when your work feels invisible. That's the test. That's where most fold. But not you, because you're no longer chasing momentum. You are the momentum. You generate it. You bring the fire. You carry the standard. And when the voices around you go silent, you speak louder with your action. That's how winners operate. They don't wait to be inspired. They move and find their inspiration on the battlefield. They don't let the weather decide their work ethic. Rain, shine, pain, chaos, they're locked in, focused, committed to the identity, not the outcome. Because the truth is, if you only move when it's easy, you'll never reach anything worth having. But if you move like you've already won, when it's hard, when it's lonely, when no one understands, then you're not just dreaming, you're becoming. And becoming isn't romantic, it's not beautiful, it's brutal, it's ugly, it's filled with self-doubt, isolation, and the kind of silence that makes you question everything. But you push through, not because it feels good, but because the fire in you is bigger than the fear around you. You act like you've already won, not for show, not for followers, not for applause, but because that's the only energy that builds empires. Anything less is a waste of your breath, a betrayal of your potential. You don't owe your old life anything, not another minute, not another excuse, not another half effort. Let it go and let the new one begin, fully, finally, with no return. Your walk becomes different, not faster, but heavier. Like every step is writing a page in your story. Your voice deepens, not louder, but sharper. Every word calculated, every sentence backed by integrity. Your schedule tightens, your standards sharpen, and suddenly you no longer ask, "Can I do this?" You declare, "This is mine." And even when you're not there yet, you live like you are. You train like you've got something to lose. You speak like lives depend on your words. You create like your future children will live off what you're building, because maybe they will. Maybe generations will rise or fall based on what you choose to believe right now. So don't just act like you've already won. Carry it, bleed it, breathe it, until it's all you know, until the line between belief and reality vanishes. And when people ask how you got here, you won't need to explain. They'll see it in how you move. They'll feel it in your presence. They'll know this one decided long before the world agreed. Still breathing? Good. Because the ones who finish the race aren't always the fastest. They're the ones who refuse to stop. And right now, that's you. You're still here, still breathing, still locked in. So let me keep pouring into you until your bones remember what they were built for. You don't rise by accident, you rise by alignment. When your actions, your thoughts, your focus all point in one direction. No backup plan, no exit strategy, just forward. Relentless, unapologetic. You see, most people are part-time with their potential. They clock in when it's convenient. They show up when they feel motivated. But the ones who win, they show up regardless. They don't act like they've already won to fool others. They do it to remind themselves. Remind themselves who they are when it's dark. Remind themselves what they're building when it gets quiet. Remind themselves why they started when the road stretches long and the winds take time. Because if you don't lead your mind, it will betray you. That's the harsh truth. Your brain is a survival machine. It wants comfort, safety, familiarity, and success lives in none of those places, so you train it like a wild animal. You don't let it decide your day, you command it. You train it with discipline, with focus, with habits, with hunger. Act like you've already won, because the moment you act, your brain starts believing. Your identity shifts, your decisions sharpen. You say no more often. You move with more clarity, and suddenly, your whole life begins to orbit around that one decision. I am no longer available for a life that looks like everyone else's. You're not chasing average. You're not here to blend in. You're not meant for a life that fits neatly inside someone else's expectations. You're here to build something that shakes the ground when you walk, to become someone so precise in purpose that even your silence speaks. And yes, there will be days when none of it feels like it's working, when the mirror reflects exhaustion, when the results don't match your effort, when the vision feels far. That's when you double down. That's when you hold the line. That's when you remind yourself, I move like I've already made it because anything less is a lie. The lie is that you need to see it to be it. You need to be it so you can see it. You lead with belief, you lead with energy, you lead with action. You walk into rooms like the deal's already done. You speak like your voice deserves space. You stand like the throne has already been built and you're just catching up to it. That energy changes everything. It attracts the right people, repels the wrong ones. It commands respect before a word leaves your mouth. And it rewires your soul to say, this is who I am now. I don't flinch, I don't fold, I don't pause for permission. You become dangerous, not because of your aggression, but because of your conviction, because you've become so rooted in your vision, nothing can dig it out, and people won't understand it. They'll say you're obsessed, intense, cold. Let them, because the world has enough casual dreamers. It needs you, fully activated, fully present, fully unshakable. This version of you doesn't beg for opportunity. You create it, you become it, you embody it. So when the storm comes, and it will, you don't panic. You don't negotiate with it. You walk through it like it's part of the plan, because in your mind, it is. Every hit, every delay, every challenge is fuel. It's all just resistance training for the soul. And that's why you keep going. Not because it's easy, but because quitting would mean disrespecting everything you've already survived. You've come too far. You've bled too much. You've seen too many glimpses of the greatness within you to ever go back to acting like you're trying. You're not trying anymore. You're doing. You've already won. Now live like it. I can go deeper. Let me know. All right, let's go deeper, beneath the surface, past motivation, past inspiration, into the engine room of who you are, into the part of you that doesn't care about applause, doesn't wait for motivation, and doesn't flinch in the dark. This is not hype. This is not a speech. This is a reminder of your nature, a reawakening. Because here's the raw truth. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what the world made you forget. They conditioned you to be modest about your power, to apologize for your ambition, to doubt your instincts. From the moment you were born, you were told to sit down, slow down, calm down. And somewhere along the line, you believed them. You got smaller, softer, quieter. You traded conviction for comfort, truth for peacekeeping, fire for politeness. But that part of you, the wild, unbroken, relentless force underneath the conditioning, it never died. It's still there, waiting, watching, listening for the moment you finally say, enough. Enough pretending to be okay with a life that doesn't stretch you. Enough performing a version of yourself that fits in with people you've outgrown. Enough putting your dreams on layaway because you're scared to look arrogant. You've already paid the price for staying small. Now pay the price for becoming everything you were meant to be. And that starts with how you move. Not someday, today, not when things line up, but especially when they don't. Anyone can act powerful when it's easy. But the real ones, they act like they've already won when nothing makes sense. When the bills are late, when the phone is dry, when the results are invisible. That's when identity is tested. That's when you either fold back into the version of yourself you promised to outgrow, or you step up. And stepping up doesn't mean pretending. It means embodying the energy of where you're going before you arrive. That's how you get there. That's how life works. Your reality bends to your standard, not your wish. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe you are. So believe bigger. Raise the standard. Raise your walk. Raise your language. Stop saying things like hopefully and someday was maybe. There is no maybe in a winner's vocabulary. There is no try. There is only now. You either decide who you are or the world decides for you. And the world is loud, fast, and manipulative. If you don't lead yourself, you will be led. And you'll wake up one day with a life that looks nothing like your soul. That's the real danger. Not failure. Regret. Regret for all the times you played small, for all the nights you watered yourself down, for all the seasons you spent almost living. And you'll look back and realize you weren't too late. You were too hesitant. You kept looking for proof instead of deciding. Well, let this be the last time. From this moment on, walk like the pen is in your hand. Speak like the outcome depends on your tone. Think like your mind is your weapon. And act like you've already won, because you can't lose if the decision has already been made. This is not delusion, this is spiritual discipline. A decision to match your actions with the person you know lives inside you. That version of you that doesn't need validation, doesn't need to explain, doesn't need to be seen, because they're too busy building something unforgettable. And when doubt creeps in, because it will, you remind yourself, I already won the moment I refused to quit. The moment I chose to show up when it was hard, when it was lonely, when it made no sense. That's when the tide shifted. That's when I became dangerous, because that's when I became inevitable. And if they ask how you became so focused, so disciplined, so different, you won't need to say a word. They'll feel it in your energy. They'll see it in your results. They'll know it by the way you walk into a room and own it. Because by then, you won't just be acting like you've already won. You'll be living it, breathing it, being it.